Doug, it's super early, man. You
I,
woke me up. Now you caught me while I was making my coffee. What the heck?
I'm sorry. I feel like Pharaoh, slave driver.
Yeah, they pretty much are. But fortunately for us, I was able to maintain getting us a guest today. So I'd like all of you to welcome my special guest.
Gumby.
Hi, Doug. You remember this guy, Gumby?
I do.
He's awesome, dude.
My,
He's
my,
my coffee maker. I'll put him over here by my coffee machine.
my,
For those of you who want to know what creativity is all about, I'm just trying to create an ambiance, and this is all I had was a nice chrome thing. This is the best thing ever.
a chrome thing and a green thing. My mom used to work for a restaurant in Denver, Colorado, and Gumby was like the what do you call the
Mascot.
mascot? Thank you, man. Talk about a
uh, yeah.
Well, I got a
Well,
little
that's cool.
different setting here. I don't know if you noticed, but them not in the call office. I don't know if you noticed that or not. And I'm
Oh,
and I'm being a little bit quiet because my family's still sleeping.
yeah, me too. But I thought that was actually the closet behind your office, the one you never let me in.
The Narnia.
Yeah. Oh, okay. So I still don't know what's in that closet.
That's true. That's true. It's a mystery.
You're freaking me out there, Doug. Hey, well, welcome to Talk Story Unscripted, and we should just call this Unscripted because this is so totally unscripted. It's
Completely
crazy.
scripted.
Yeah.
Yeah, but it's okay. Sometimes life doesn't have a script, and other times life gives you peanut butter and jelly sandwiches, and you really hope for crunchy because texture is what makes life interesting.
And so this podcast has no texture whatsoever. Is that what you're trying to say, Doug?
I
This
don't
is
know
pretty
what.
bad.
I was making it up as I went along.
Yes.
How's
Hey,
it
well, let's get serious for a moment.
good?
How are you feeling in this whole quarantine world?
Yeah. I'm hoping that we are nipping this whole thing. I'm hoping we're nipping it in the behind and taking care of it. I'm seeing hardly anyone outside anytime I drive to the office to do the media stuff. I see everyone wearing their masks, and my hope is it seems like everyone is taking it very seriously, and that would mean that we'd be done right quickly. So I do know that
Yeah.
we're approaching what's supposed to be the height of the the effects of the
Yeah.
virus on our population. But and so I'm hopeful that we're reaching that and that we're going to be past this soon.
And to be clear for those who are watching, because we are part of media, we actually can go. That's why Doug could go to the office, and I've actually been able to shoot a little bit outside. And actually, Doug, I want to share that at the end, if that would be okay with you. I yesterday I shot a sunrise, and it was beautiful. I got a drone, and I'm having fun with it, and I'm learning it. But it's really an encouraging video because it's just there's something about the sun coming up, sunrise. The Bible tells us that joy comes in the morning, right? And I really got that feeling. I even put the scripture on it as well, a little graphic. So stay tuned, everybody. This is worth watching because at least you'll see that, and hopefully that'll be an encouragement to you.
A little teaser I'll put up there right now. That photo that you took from your drone the other day. My
That
goodness,
was, that was the same morning, yes.
it is
So,
so beautiful. Like, how do you do that? I just to give us a real quick 101 on how you make that look so gorgeous and so vibrant.
well, to be honest with you, it was just like being at the right place at the right time. I mean, I didn't know what I was doing. That was the very first time I ever shot a photo with the drone, and it's using a panoramic mode, which basically takes a bunch of photos at once and then stitches them together, which I've done in the past with software. I manually have to move my camera to get the whole thing. Because I don't know about you guys, I'm sure there are times where you're like, oh my gosh, I want to capture this whole thing. And then you look at your viewfinder or the back of your camera and you go, I'm just getting a little bit of it. So what's cool about this is that you're able to shoot a bunch of shots and combine them together. So that's what I did. And then I went into some processing with it, make sure that nothing was over or underexposed. So I'd bring up the lights and bring up the darks and pull down the lights a bit. I did add a little bit of saturation in there, and that's about it. But it was a wow moment for me when I saw the image because I didn't see it until I got back. And then when I put it on the computer, I just said, "Oh my goodness, this is amazing!" It was just so beautiful.
You have
And
a
there's
lot
something about.
like that.
Say that again, Doug.
You have a lot of moments like that where you take your photos and then you look at it later and you're, because I've heard you say that many times, like, whoa, I didn't even know. Like it was like it's like God was
Yeah,
in there going, ooh, watch this. Pete doesn't even know.
yeah, it was like that. I mean, getting to the beach, and you know, it's sunrise, so you get there, you're driving, you don't know what you're gonna get. You know, it's just a matter of saying, well, I'm gonna go. And you know, there's a lot of spiritual aspects to that too. You know, I taught back in California regarding this in regards to photography. You know, it's about going with intention. You know, you're intentionally going to go and you want to receive something, and then paying attention, listening and observing, seeing what's out there. And so when I walked onto the beach and I looked and I just couldn't believe how beautiful it was, I thought, well, let's see what I can get out of this. And then usually, of course, the camera's with me, but with the drone, I took it up, put it in the air, and most of the time I'm worried that it's going to drop down in the ocean. I don't even know how it doesn't, but anyway, it didn't. And yeah, and I just thought, okay, here goes. And I tried it, and again, I couldn't see it until I got home, and I just was blown away by that shot.
You know, to add to the spiritual law or principle of just going out and just go to and being what did you say the word was purposeful,
Expectant,
huh?
yeah, purposeful, be expectant. Go with an expectation. You know, like you're gonna go and you're gonna try and receive something. You hear that?
I do.
Trash truck. That's
Ah.
how earth is. I don't know if you guys can hear that.
Well, I was gonna add on to what you were saying there, Pete. Is I find that to be so true, but I on top of that, I find that there's barriers often that get from you getting from here to there, and
Yeah.
the other principle is to don't give up, right? To press through, because I have found some of my most awesome God-inspired magical moments on the other end of of pressing through the difficulty. It's almost like how much do you want it, right? Do you want it enough to get through this little bit of pain or a little bit of a difficulty or a little bit of humility, humbling yourself in this moment, surrendering to God in this moment to get to the other side of
Yeah.
what God has for
Oh,
you.
it's so true because I got up at 4 in the morning, Doug. 4 in the morning, and then I took a shower just because I have to. I have to wake up, and then drove, and for quite a while. Now, again, just to remind everybody, because we're media, we're allowed to do that to get out into an area, even though we're in quarantine. But I made sure I kept my, social distance. You know, I didn't. My wife was with me, so that's okay. But we didn't get close to anybody else. But anyway, that's so. When I got out, when you get out there, when you're driving there, it's dark. You don't know what you're gonna get. Lots of times it's like that, spiritually speaking too. You may be going through some dark times, but if you keep persevering and pushing through, the light comes. That's why it's such a beautiful scripture that where it says joy comes in the morning. And prior to that, it talks about how at night you go through weeping, and it's not a great time, but joy's coming. Joy's coming in the morning. So that's a great promise from God.
I love that, Pete. It is such a beautiful, especially, just early in the morning. I know this is going to show in the afternoon and at night, but that's just a beautiful way for us to start our day. And I also want to throw up here, and you'll have to send it to me because I think you have the raw file, the photo that you took of me and my family out there at North Shore. That's another photo that you took that I just blew me away. I mean, look at the colors there, and you have a gift, Pete. You really do of capturing these moments and making them just pop. And I guess I would say that top of your gift, it's apparent that God blesses you with beautiful backgrounds. Because I mean, who could have planned for a sunset like that? I mean,
Yeah, that was a crazy day. I mean, I really wanted to shoot the sunset, but you guys were in the way, so I had to shoot you guys too. But yeah, I enjoyed that night. It was incredible. It's like God bless you guys. And I don't
Yeah.
have any control of that. That's nothing I do. It's not a gift, really. I people always say, "Oh, that's a gift. You're talented." You know what? I really believe, and I really believe this with all my heart, that it's not about that. It's about having a passion. If you have a passion to do something, you're gonna do all you can to learn, to grow, to get better at it, to do something much better. And if you do that, then you'll get great results. You're gonna start learning and seeing things that maybe you never did before. So that's what it's all about, really. It's about having that passion to do it. I mean, these things didn't happen overnight. As I shared in that documentary you did about my photography, that I tried, and I failed in my mind. I thought, oh, forget it. And I gave it up for a long time. And then I thought, you know what, I'm going to go try again. And, I pursued it. And then I got more passionate about it. And I learned a lot of things that I didn't know before. So that's a huge deal. And I learned from people, I learned from whoever I could.
Yeah.
That's the key too.
Yeah, that's really cool. And and you're right. It applies across the board, right? Whether it's doing photography, doing cinematography, videography, or doing
Storytelling.
storytelling, or everything. Doing culinary arts, and I think there's so many different arts, so many different art forms, and everybody has.
Yeah.
Some people might say I'm not artistic, and that's a lie. God is artistic, and we're made in His image. So
Yeah.
everybody has an artistic gift to express, beautiful things that God's put in them, and like you said, Pete, refine it, right? Refine your
Yeah.
grow.
Sorry about that.
Oh, we're getting notifications. Well,
Yeah.
speaking of notifications, why don't you tell us a little bit about the Call Stream stuff, the Endure conference? Is everything finished?
Well, yes, I'm totally, totally excited about that. I just want to encourage everybody to get on board. I'm not sure the actual date. We'll probably let you know as it gets closer. But this Saturday, actually, Easter Eve. Can you say that? So we got Good Friday, then you've got the Saturday. That day, the day before Easter, we are launching what's called Call Stream. So it's very much a streaming service where you can get great content. And the first thing we're doing is the first thing we're putting onto Call Stream, is really the only thing at the moment, is the Endure conference. So that was recorded back in February, the 28th and 29th, before all this happened. I remember talk of it. I remember thinking, oh, is this going to be bad? And then here we are.
Yeah.
It's been pretty crazy, and a lot of people are really concerned, and a lot of people are waking up, and some people are just scoffing it, like, whatever, who cares? It's no big deal. So regardless of where you stand in this whole pandemic thing and what you think about it, it's well worth signing up to Colo Stream. And by the way, it's free. Right now it's free. Later it won't be, so you might as well jump in now and watch this incredible conference. There's 7 sessions, and we're throwing in some behind the scenes stuff, all our podcasts that we did there. So that'll be in there, and whatever else we can put in there. But the important thing are the sessions. And there's Jack Hibbs, there's John Miller, who's a pastor in Menifee, California. There's Lance Ralston. Oh my gosh, Lance's message was amazing. They're all great, but Lance's message really hit me. And he talks about the lie, and he talks about what will people take in, during these last days, because it talks about there's going to be a deception that everybody's going to buy into. So he talks about some probabilities, not for sure done things. We can't really say that. We don't know, but he really ties some amazing things that are, well, we thought, oh, it's coming. No, they're actually right now happening. There are things happening right now. So that really blew me away. I just was blown away by that. And so, but the best thing I think would be that if you're confused about Bible prophecy, if you're not quite sure how this all works from a biblical perspective, this is a great thing to watch. It's really clear. You're going to get some great teaching, and you'll really understand the basics, or more than the basics, that understand Bible prophecy, which I think is really important in these days. I think it's really comforting. It's encouraging, And yeah, so what do you think, Doug? You remember that when we were there? You were in the middle. You had the main camera. You were shooting. What was that like for you? And how was that taking care of technical stuff, but also listening to what was going on?
Well, I was grateful that the setup on that middle camera and the speaker couldn't move because they have, that mic was set. They didn't have a headset, which was huge benefit because it meant that I could just as long as all the settings were established ahead of time, that we could just let it be. So technically wise, it was a pretty gentle flow. I really enjoyed the speakers. Brent Miller Jr. talking about making his docudramas and his films, documentaries about prophecy, and then Jay McCarl. I really enjoyed Jay McCarl's. That guy. He's done like 30 or 40 tours to Israel, and seen him on YouTube doing some stuff. So it was really cool to hear him talk about some of the things that I never knew. There's that scripture that when God says, "I wish you were either hot or cold, because you're lukewarm, I'm going to spit you out of my mouth." And he breaks down the meaning of that based on the archaeology of the land and of a certain place that had. I won't give it away, but you got to watch it, because to me it was mind blowing. I always thought that it meant I either wish that you were on fire for God or just completely dead to God. And I was like, that doesn't make any sense. Like, why would God want me just to be completely cold to him? And he explains that it's not that. And you find out what it is that he's talking about in that. And I love that. That one still sticks with me.
Well, yeah, the great thing about Jay is that he really helps you understand why God used those terms, why Jesus used those terms for that particular church. Right. It's because they understood it more than anybody. Yeah. And like for you, Doug, and for me, it's like, what? I kind of like when it's warm and it's not too hot, and, you're taking a shower. You don't always want to make it in the middle somewhere, right? So I don't understand this, but he explains why. So that's great. Yeah, that's Jay's session was great. So we've got a promo that would be great if we maybe do you want to show it during this podcast or maybe at the end, Doug? What do you think?
I'll say we'll show that right now, and then following that will be Pete Sunset, and we'll call it a day.
Sounds great. All right. Well, God bless you guys, and hang in there. And one important thing I want to say is that this is Easter week. And it's a great week. It's a great time for those of us who are believers. It'd be a really good time to share your testimony. I mean, all we've got is social media, right? Yeah. Everybody's talking to everybody and so forth through social media. So we're doing something at our church, and there's a hashtag. And I can't remember what it is right now, but it'll be on the screen because when Doug finishes this thing, he'll put it on there. But put that on and put it on your Instagram and your Facebook and whatnot, and just share your heart, 1 or 2 minutes of how you came to know Christ and why Jesus is important to you. I mean, hey, we're at for Christians, this is a big week for us. Now, yes, you can get into the whole fact that the Easter wasn't really when Jesus rose from the dead, all those types of things. Yes, maybe so, but you know what? The important thing is we're celebrating it. We know that Jesus rose from the dead. When that happened exactly, the exact day and year and all that, we don't know that. I guess we could if we get into it. But the important bit is, what has he done in our lives? So encouragement to do that. Sorry. We'll get into it.
That's good. Love it. So here's the promo for the Endurance Conference, followed by Pete's glorious sunrise.
Sunrise. Most people think it's a sunset. Sunrise. All right.
We'll see you guys next
time. See you, Doug. All right. God bless you.
When we talk to people about Bible prophecy, people will say, people have been talking about the return of Christ for generations. Yes, that's true. The difference between then and now is this. Whereas previous generations had to bend and twist either scriptures or current events to make them fit, we don't have to. We can read the Bible and see how the stage has been set for a literal fulfillment of these things, and no other generation of history can say that.